Most people think low intelligence is obvious. Bad grades, low IQ, big embarrassing mistakes. Psychology says that's wrong. Low intelligence hides in the tiny behaviors people repeat every day without questioning them. And here's the uncomfortable truth. These habits don't just reveal how you think, they train your brain to think worse over time. Let me show you what psychologists actually watch for. First, outsourcing reality to luck. Some people don't believe life responds to effort. They believe it responds to rituals. Lucky clothes, certain numbers, avoiding random actions just in case. It feels harmless, but it's called magical thinking. The brain mistakes coincidence for cause. Something good happens once and suddenly a superstition becomes a rule. That's not intuition, that's logic shutting down. Intelligent minds ask, what's the evidence? Weak thinking replaces reasoning with comfort rituals. Next, chronic sleep denial. Bragging about 4 hours of sleep isn't discipline, it's cognitive damage. Sleep loss destroys memory, emotional regulation, and decision-making. After enough deprivation, your brain functions like it's intoxicated. Smart people protect sleep because they understand it's not rest, it's maintenance. Ignoring it isn't strength, it's self-inflicted decline. Then there's the fear of silence. Some people cannot be alone with their thoughts. No noise feels unbearable, no distraction feels dangerous. Psychology links this to poor internal processing. Intelligent minds use solitude to integrate ideas and solve problems. Avoiding silence isn't being social, it's avoiding thinking. Now watch how someone talks. If every conversation stays at weather, traffic, or weekend plans, something is missing. Small talk is fine, living there permanently is not. Psychologists call this low need for cognition. No hunger for ideas, no curiosity, no depth. Intelligent people don't just talk, they explore. Confidence without substance is another red flag. The loudest voice in the room, interrupting, explaining things they barely understand. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less someone knows, the more certain they feel. Real intelligence sounds quieter. It asks questions, it admits gaps, it listens. Blind rule following is next. Instructions say one thing, reality says another. Lower intelligence obeys the paper anyway. This isn't discipline, it's cognitive laziness. Smart minds adapt. Rigid minds walk straight into failure because that's what the rules said. Then come conspiracies. Simple villains, secret forces, easy explanations for complex systems. They feel exciting because they remove responsibility. But psychology shows conspiracy thinking thrives when critical thinking is weak. Smart minds verify. Low minds accept the story that feels dramatic. Rigid thinking follows closely behind. We've always done it this way. No, that won't work. Instant rejection without evaluation. Mental inflexibility is one of the strongest predictors of stagnation. Intelligence adapts. Rigidity gets punished by reality. Instant gratification is another silent killer. Scrolling, snacking, swiping, every urge satisfied immediately. Over time, the brain loses patience for effort. Delay becomes unbearable. The famous marshmallow studies weren't about candy, they were about self-control predicting life outcomes. Smart minds tolerate discomfort for growth. Weak minds chase relief and call it happiness. Poor listening is a major tell. Interrupting, waiting to talk, zoning out. Listening is cognitive labor. It requires processing unfamiliar ideas. People who don't listen often can't handle complexity, so they disengage. Intelligent people learn from anyone. Unintelligent people assume they already know. Dismissiveness seals the pattern. That's stupid. That'll never work. No curiosity, no exploration. That's not wisdom. That's the brain avoiding effort. Then there's digital numbing. Hours of scrolling, endless shows, no creation, no reflection. Research shows constant dopamine hits shrink attention span and weaken focus. Entertainment isn't the problem, unconscious consumption is. Trend hopping comes next. New identity every month. Borrowed opinions, borrowed style, borrowed personality. That's not individuality, that's herd safety. Intelligence asks, do I actually want this? Low intelligence copies first and thinks later. Even gaming reveals it. Hours played, no improvement, same mistakes. Time spent doesn't equal learning. Reflection does. Here's the truth most people miss. Low intelligence isn't something you're born with. It's something you practice. Every ignored habit slowly rewires your brain to stay average. Every corrected habit sharpens it. Most people will hear this, feel uncomfortable, and return to the same behaviors. A few will recognize themselves and change. If you want psychology without comfort, without sugarcoating, and without excuses, this channel is for people who actually want to understand how the mind works and how it fails. The rest will scroll away.